Welcome, 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 everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy midweek. Welcome to our this month's live show titled What's My Next Best Step? I'm your host, Stacey Buchanan, Director of Marketing and Content here at BIPOC Executive Search. Before delving into today's show and introducing my esteemed colleagues joining us for the live session, I want to take this moment, a true honor and privilege, to acknowledge the land we are on. Indigenous communities have always known that being in good relations with peoples, creatures, and the land is integral to well being. In the spirit of living in kingship and community, land acknowledgements are not only a means of declaring sovereignty and treaty rights, but are also a way for all people to feel more connected to a place. BIPOC Executive Search was established in Toronto, a Mohawk word that translates to the place in the water where the trees are standing. It has been and continues to be the home of the Chippewa, the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, the Mississaugas of the Credit, and many other First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. The area covered by Treaty 13 is signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit. For time immemorial, the lush waterways, rich soils, and purifying effects of the Great Lakes ecosystem have made it a place of abundance for food, medicines, knowledge and cultural exchange, and commerce for Indigenous peoples. For those of us at the firm who are non-Indigenous, we will commit to honoring Indigenous ways of being and knowing by slowing down to examine our relationship to land, ecology, and ancestry. We will research and learn about the original caretakers of the lands we are occupying. We will reflect on when and how we arrived at this land. And finally, using the reconciliation plan detailed on our website at bipocexecutivesearch.com, we will actively work on moving from acknowledgement to long-term solidarity, kingship, and relationship building with Indigenous communities. Thank you for giving me the space, and I hope that the space is honored by you as well. I want to now welcome our guest to today's show. So please allow me to welcome Christopher Lee, Executive Recruiter and Consultant, Deborah Miller, Executive Consultant, Recruiter and Consultant as well, and Sarah Khan, who is our project coordinator, one of our project coordinator and researchers. So I want you to know that Deborah, Sarah, and Christopher are three of our new team members that have joined us here in September. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you all doing?
Great. So happy to be here.
Okay, good. So before we get into today's show, I just want to give like a synopsis to our title. So as we all know, right, the fall season, specifically the month of September, well, technically September sits on the border of summer and fall, right? But nonetheless, September brings with it a sense of fresh beginnings for many, especially children and individuals embarking on new chapters. The back to school season then symbolizes opportunities for, say, growth, learning, and transformation. Additionally, for countless individuals, the month of September also marks the start of new jobs or the elevation to new positions and titles. So, this collective sentiment of renewal and progression then aligns seamlessly with the title of this month's show, What's My Next Best Step? It is a reminder, rather, that regardless of where we find ourselves in life, there's always room for reevaluation, redirection, and the pursuit of our next best move forward. So I'm going to dive into today's topic. And you know what? For myself, I'm going to breathe a bit because I think I just need to breathe it out because we're going to dive into a session that is really like a fireside chat. And me and my colleagues, we're just going to talk and give and share tips and advice as much as we can give you and also share with you our lived experiences. So I'm going to go into question number one. And this is where I would like for you to tell us a bit, each of you, tell us a bit about yourself. And here's the tricky part. I want to use this in a form of telling us a bit about yourself without titles. It's a bit hard to do, but I'm going to go around. We're going to go around in a bit. And you know what? Christopher, you're up.
I'm more than happy to start first. So without titles, interesting. It's so common that we like to just start there and who we are and what titles we have. But I would say that who I am without the, like, when people see me, is a motivational speaker, a coach, a facilitator, a networker, someone that loves just to be very kind of kooky and creative, very much wants to, just experience all the different cultural things that there are all out there in the world. But then behind closed doors, I'm that person that likes to sing in the shower. I'm that person that likes to dance, dance in the kitchen, likes to sing songs to Billie Holiday. So again, very creative as well, but also someone that allows myself to be a bit more vulnerable and a bit more reflective. So it's kind of a very interesting dichotomy between my extroverted persona on the outside and my more reflective, introverted side on when I'm by myself. So I think that's a good way to sum up a bit of who I am at this point in time.
Christopher, thank you so much for sharing that. I love to hear that you like to sing because we've done karaoke before here at the firm. We've meet up and gone off of karaoke, so maybe we can have a karaoke sing off or something like that.
I'm all about it.
All right, thank you, Sarah. I'm going to move over to you. And same question. Can you tell us a bit about yourself? Sans title.
Of course, sans titles. Yeah, what an interesting way to introduce yourself. I think when you see me, or when the first impression of me, I think you would probably think, she's quiet. She seems like a nice girl. And yes, I think I am. I think that's what I like to bring forward. Always like to bring joy and light to the room, and bring a smile to other people, I think. And but I think I think one thing that people recognize about me is my work ethic. I don't like to beat around the bush. I like to get things done. I have my type A side come out. I love my lists, love my checklists, but on the other hand too, like, I can be pretty chaotic. Like Chris, I love to dance. I love to sing like loud as I can. And it's just a nice way to release your stress and things like that. And um yeah, I would say I'm more on the introverted side, but when my extroverted side comes out, I think I can be the life of a party and crack jokes whenever I want to. And yeah, just, I think, be my authentic self. Like, I think this year, like, one of my keywords for 2023 was authenticity. I wanted to bring myself forward even more, not having to wear a mask. Just, yeah, bringing my true best self forward every day. And yeah, I think it shows through one of my hobbies, writing and poetry and things of that nature. I really love to do. It's something I'm passionate about on the side. Yeah, I think in a way I'm a bit of a storyteller in that sense. Like, I like my words to evoke certain images. I love people to relate to my words, and yeah, I really hope I can continue to bring my best authentic self forward. So thank you, Stacey, and back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. That is great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I would love to see another dancer that we have on our team is AJ. If you're watching, well, he's watching, but I'd love to see you and AJ get a dance off going. I love that. And me and Christopher will do like the karaoke off. And but Olivia's really good. Olivia might beat us, Christopher.
I don't know. It's a competition. I think we all bring different styles and rhythms to the table. So it'd just be interesting seeing the smorgasbord that exists, especially at the Christmas party, right?
Yeah, that's true. But I should let you know, Chris, that competition is my middle name. Yeah, but anyway, joking. Over to you, Deborah. Please tell us a bit about yourself, mindless titles.
Yeah, mine is professional titles. I love that you asked that question in that way because we're all so much more than our jobs, right? So for me, I would say that I'm a daughter. I'm a daughter of a proud Liberian mother. I'm a daughter of a proud man from North Philadelphia. I'm actually based in the States. I'm in the state of Delaware in Wilmington, Delaware. So I'm a sister, I'm a friend. I'm somebody who's curiosity driven. I love to learn. And that I think pretty much sums up who I am. I'm always researching and I'm an observer. So I love to, put things together and figure out how things work. And I'm always asking the question why. Since I was a little girl, it was always, why is this? Why is that? How does this work? So I'm somebody who's definitely driven by curiosity, and it leads me to to my love for people. I love people. I love to learn about people and their stories. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation today to really hear each other's stories and share that information. And because I'm an observer, I don't usually talk too much. I'm someone who's always watching on the sidelines and lurking. So I'm glad to be able to share today. But apart from that, outside of those things, I would say I'm somebody who is, I love health. Health and fitness is something that I'm very passionate about. Herbal medicine. I love to cook. I love music. I have a lust for life, I would say. I have a million and one hobbies that I don't have the time to do all the time, that I wish I had the time to do. But I think my hobbies would be like 2 full-time jobs if I really took the time to do them. But that's me. I'm somebody who really, really loves people. I love life and I love my family.
Mm.
Thank you so much for sharing, Deborah, and thank you for letting our community and our audience that is watching that you're located in the United States, Delaware, and that this is how big our team is. This is our team is growing, and that we're also a part. We're also in the United States as well. Thank you for sharing that, and I love your zest for life. I love the actively learning, wanting to know. Like as a child, I was one of those childs that wanted to know more too, or why. So I can dive into the question for myself and I love what you all shared. So for me, I like to consider myself like a storyteller, like a natural born storyteller. Everything that I do tells a story. Like I've been keeping a journal since I was 14 years old, since I moved to Canada. So I've always kept a journal. I was originally born in Jamaica and I moved here when I was 14, almost 15. And I have journals for everything. So till this day, like I will keep like 4 journals. So like I like to have a journal where I keep like my affirmations in, or stuff that I'm manifesting, or this is goals for me now. I love to write. I'm one of those people that want to see you shine your best. I'm a big giver of flowers. I love to big up people. It is within me to constantly big you up, because sometimes we get to a place where we can't really see our greatness. And I love to share that with people. I'm an overdresser. You invite me to a barbecue, I'm probably going to wear a gown. Not really, but I'm an overdresser. And I celebrate people that overdress, because life
Mm.
is short, life is beautiful. Why not wear the dress? Why not wear the expensive perfume? Why not do it all? So I'm a big believer and a big celebrator of life itself. I'm somebody that's also struggled in the past with suicidal ideation and depression.
Mm.
So coming out of that space, I really celebrate life. I celebrate everything. So like I was saying, even after this live, probably going to go and buy myself a caramel frappuccino, and just to celebrate. I celebrate everything, and I love celebrating those around me. So that's a little bit about me. We're going to dive into question number 2 as well. And the audience, if you're watching this, tell us where you're from. You can put in the comment section, tell us where you're watching from, because we know our community is growing and we know it extends beyond Canada. So please write in our comment section and let us know where you're from, and also let us know how you're doing today. Okay, so we're going to go into question number 2, and we wanted to know a bit more, since Deborah, Sarah, and Christopher are 3 of our new hires. We wanted to know a bit about their journey. So how was your journey? So question number 2 is, tell us a bit about your journey to joining the best team. And when we say best, it's an acronym of BES. So we're not out here saying that we're the best. We are the best. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just BIPOC Executive Search. So we like to call it Best Team, BES. So I'm going to start off with you, Christopher. Can you tell us about your journey to joining us here?
Sure. Well, first, I just want to kind of consider the thought of when you said you're somebody that's always overdressed. I feel like you're someone that's always your best dressed, and I think that would be a great way to look at it. Like you want to show up just shining the best you can, and I think bringing that into the best team, and it's a team that I definitely have to say that it brings out the best in us. I know it sounds kind of cheesy and running on the pun, but I'm so glad I've gotten here. But to get here was definitely a lot of different peaks and troughs and a lot of self-discovery. I like a lot of people, it would have started with COVID. I was based in Beijing, China, came back because for different reasons I wanted to be back home. I wanted to be close to family. And while during the COVID season, I loved being home, which home for me, right, was at the time Barbados, very warm. You imagine the silvery, the white sands, the crystal clear water. So it was definitely an oasis, but something kept tugging at me. And that just made that I wanted to explore what that was. And of course, having time to think about it, that thing was is that where can I be my next best self? And my next best self really was in a space that I could pull out all the elements of my who I am as a person, whether it be as male presenting person, whether it be as someone as a part of the 2S LGBTQ plus community, someone who's Caribbean Chinese. So there are all these different elements personally and professionally that I wanted to go. And that's kind of what brought me back home to Canada and by extension Toronto, which is the place where I was born. And I think, Toronto and in general globally, the workplace is very competitive. And one always hopes not just to find a job, but a job that resonates and connects with your values and connects with your being and your spirit. And so again, being in the process of job hunting, which is what I would have done for about 2.5 to 3 months, people kept asking me, well, what do you want? Where do you see yourself going? What's your value add? And I think, and we're going to discuss it a little bit later in the chat, but a lot of it bred a lot of fear because I was like, well, I don't have the exact answer. A lot of it bred a lot of, well, do I have something to add value to? I'm just not sure. I mean, I say to myself, I'm a singer and, I do cross-cultural communications and, I love to do motivational speaking, but still something was like, well, what does that translate into in terms of a title for a job and so forth? And so, as fate would have it, I would have met the owner and amazing founder of BIPOC, Jason Murray, and been able to just be in his presence in here, not only for him to not only listen to my journey of coming back here and my desire to not just be in a space where I can grow and connect with different communities, but also where I can help other people connect and align with their journey and their next best steps as well. And I think that's kind of how it all kind of piggybacked and just like came together that I would end up in a role such as an executive recruiter and consultant, which, to be very fair, was not something that I at first thought was like, this is exactly the role for me. But with my background, I think this is the best place I'm supposed to be right now. And I'm so happy that I'm here and I'm here with all of you. And I've had a great chance to meet Deborah and Stacy and Sarah and have these one-on-one chats, and as well as the rest of the team. And that's my journey of coming here. And I just want to thank you guys so much for being a part of that journey.
Thank you, Christopher. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us and you coming here. And I just want you to know that we're so happy and so honored to have you here. Thank you for that. Like your journey, a part of your journey resonate with me so much too when we're in that space of trying to figure out what is your next best step or what is good for me if you're multifaceted or you wear different hats and different titles. I think sometimes for us members of the BIPOC community, we're trained and we're taught to stick to one thing, just stick to one thing and just go at it. But you can be multi-talented in various aspects, and I think we need to start implementing that and telling ourselves and teaching ourselves that it's okay. We can drive many cars. We can be in different lanes. As long as you're not swerving onto anyone, causing any accidents, it is okay. All right. Thank you for answering the question, Christopher. I'm going to move over to you, Sarah. Can you let us know what led you here? What was your journey?
Yeah. Thank you so much for this question, CCN. I think well, first of all, I want to state that my background is not related to HR or executive recruiting at all. I was actually in healthcare. And, when I got out of high school, that was my passion at the time. I think to, I think being in the healthcare space for me was really about the people, um, just helping people reach their, I guess, reach their goals in terms of their health. And I think just in general, I've always um, wanted to see people shine in different ways. So before I was in medical communications, and unfortunately, I'm to be transparent, I went through a layoff. So, obviously, that's not the best situation to be in, unfortunately. Yeah, it was very unfortunate, but I wanted to take it in a half glass full type of view, because just being in that state of being complacent, I didn't want to be that way during my layoff. I wanted to see how can I take this situation and make the best of it. And maybe this was an opportunity for me to go another route away from healthcare, to broaden my horizons. And I think, and I've worked with refugees in the past, and I've always been interested in people's journeys, and their stories and their backgrounds. And so as I was going through my job hunting, I I came across BIPOC Executive Search. Like, it was a perfect match, actually, on LinkedIn. Uh, so I decided, okay, why not? Let me take the chance. It's in project coordination. It's in research. I had a passion for project management and project management and just organizing and things of that nature. But I think what really sold me on this on the firm was the fact that you were able to grow, and that's what I'm looking for as a person who's still early in their career. So I knew how badly I wanted it, so I took that chance, and I got to meet with a lot of a lot of family members, team members on the on the BIPOC executive search team. And I'll go back to my key word of 2023, authenticity. It felt like I was able to bring my best self forward. And that's when I knew this is the right fit for me. And when I got the offer, I immediately said yes, because I just knew I could grow here as a person, and I can also, and maybe eventually, move up and be able to coach candidates and be able to let let them be their best selves, because I know how it feels during a job hunt to come across imposter syndrome, or just have a lot of self-doubt during that time. So I, you know, I'm really grateful to be part of a team that is open and vulnerable, and allows me to just be myself.
Thank you for sharing that, Sarah. I really appreciate you sharing your journey too. And I appreciate your perseverance through when you felt like when you were let go, and then you just thought about your different aspect or the different things that you have. Researching is something that you're really good at, project management, project coordinator. So everything just tied into. And I just want to say, like you said, family. And yes, we are a family. No need to correct. We are a family here, and that's the space and the atmosphere that we have created here. So yes, we welcome you. Yes, little sis. Okay. I don't know if I can say that, but we're a family here. You know what? You can call me Auntie Stacy, or including you, Chris, Deborah. Everyone can call me Auntie Stacy. But yeah. So thank you for sharing. I really appreciate hearing that. Over to you, Deborah. Please let us know about your journey to joining us here at BEST.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey for me. So I'll start let's start at the beginning. So I started my career as an English tutor. So I, started off in education, and I was teaching undergraduate students. And then I went on, and my first job out of college, I stuck with that. And I was teaching SAT prep and ACT prep. And I had no intention of being a teacher. It's just something that came naturally to me, and people would come to me and ask for help. I guess people just thought that I knew what to do. I don't know. But I started out being a teacher, and I was trying to get out of that. I wanted to use my degree. I couldn't find an avenue to use my degree. And I graduated right after that 2008 recession. So it was really, really, really tough to find a job at that time. So I was just, trying to pivot, trying to hustle, the most I could. And I think that was probably the theme of my career, was just hustling, trying to do everything. I want to get this internship. That's not working out. Okay, I'm going to pivot over here and just pivot. And it was really exhausting. It was really exhausting, having a dream and wanting to do certain things and couldn't do it. Couldn't find an opportunity to do that for whatever reason, because of the economy, because of whatever reason. So I'm here today, I think, because of integrity, for one, just being integral in those situations and just kind of resting, instead of hustling and trying to, pull for straws and, just always just fighting to get an opportunity and, stressed about it, depressed about it, and sad and, just down on myself. I just let it go, like, let's see what comes. Let's be open. Let's rest, because I still have a roof over my head. I'm still eating every day. I'm still good at what I do. I still have my degrees that, I'm still paying off, but I have them and nobody can take them from me, so let's rest and see what happens. So having that attitude of resting and, stopping that hustle, just relax the hustle and just let things come. That's really what brought me here. So my last position before coming to BIPOC, I worked at a credit card company. It was a great company, and I was a corporate trainer. So me starting out as an English tutor kind of went into me teaching adults, and training adults on how to do their jobs, helping adults feel comfortable in the workplace, to deal with leadership issues and all types of things. That led me into working for the government, and then working for that credit card company in training, corporate training. And I really love that space. I really love to to help people feel comfortable at work, because we spend a good majority of our time working. It's something that we think about every day. On the weekend, you think about your job a lot. You talk about your job a lot, probably to your friends and family. It's work-life balance to me is kind of like not a thing. It's really like, it's all one. It's all our life. Your work should be something that is not, something you have to turn on and off all the time. You should be able to really like feel like this is something I don't want to say manifested, but I designed. This is what my life looks like, and I'm proud of that. So I think from that place of just resting and integrity, and just not to stop that fight for opportunity, I started to get things flowing to me. Like my last job, that was something that flew to me. I didn't apply for it. I didn't go out looking for it. I got the job. When I really relaxed and I was confident in my skills, I started to get opportunities, and all of the sum of all of my actions started to work for me. All the people that I met along the way started to work for me, keeping those communications with people that I met in the past. So one of my good friends, who works for the firm, brought me along. I didn't have to, claw at the opportunity, that rest really is what's pivoting me forward now, instead of always hustling. So that's my journey.
Listen, if I could be clapping and cheering and yassing all along, because I've been there. I've been there with the queen of hustle. I used to be the queen of hustle. Thank you for sharing. First of all, Deborah, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, and along the way, dropping so many nuggets and gems, because I know what it's like to be the queen of hustle. I know what it's like to live in the hustle culture. And I had to tell myself, I no longer want to live here, because this creates a space where, yes, you're booking busy, but I no longer want to be booking busy. I want to be paid and peaceful. And it's always like the struggle trying to find. And I love that you talk about rest, because it's something that I share a lot. When things get so chaotic and you don't know what to do, I just like to rest. and let the answers just come to me. Just rest, just sleep it off. It doesn't matter what the chaos is going on. So I love that you share that, and it's a form of manifestation and letting things come to you. And we don't know the importance. A lot of us don't know the importance of just silencing the mind, your thoughts, and everything that's rushing and what you think should happen, and just let it come to you. Because one of my biggest and strongest believers is with opportunities. I believe wholeheartedly, that there is no such thing as a missed opportunity. I believe everything that is meant for you, everything that is divinely meant for you, will come to you when the time is right. I want to share a bit about my journey to get in here too. So I've studied theater in school, and also theater in school, in theater, and also in film school. So acting is everything that I know. That's all I know. That's my degree. That's what I have. And so I was working in film, and I remember I was wrapping up a session, and I worked different roles in film too. So one thing I was doing, I was working as a stand-in on a lead TV show. I was working for the lead actress, and I remember I had my daughter, and I thought to myself, you know what? I can't go back to a 14-hour day. Money is great and everything, but a 14-hour day is exhausting. And this is not something that I really want. And I said, I would love to have a job where I can apply my skills as a storyteller, just apply my skills and just be at a space where, more importantly, I can be closer to my daughter. I will not miss out on all the time that I wouldn't miss out on her growing up. I just wanted to be in that space. And Jason had called me up when he was starting BIPOC Executive Search, told me about the company, and I knew nothing about recruiting. I knew nothing about this space, just because like my whole entire world was just fixated. It was just so fully on theater and film. That is all I know. That was me within those spaces, right? And sure, I joined on. And what I love about BIPOC Executive Search here and Jason is the ability to see your strengths and to be able to grow. And one of the things I really love the most is being a storyteller. And I've shared that so many times. And now, as a director of marketing and content, I get to share the stories of our firm and collectively of our team members here in a way that this is our marketing. So I don't believe marketing is something that you're selling. I truly believe in sharing. And I believe that when people get to know who you are, beyond the titles, beyond the suit and tie, beyond the dresses, you show up authentically in your community. That's how you build and foster and nurture a community. And one of the things that I implemented when I first got into the space of marketing was to creating lives. I said, if we create a live, our audience, our community will get to know who we are. We can build our community. We can encourage our community. Education is so important. Encouragement, educate. And so that's a good way of just getting to know our community, right? So that's my journey here. That's what led me here from, working in film, working on set, to now working here. So, and I love it here. I absolutely love it here. We're going to get into question number 3. But before we get into question number 3, and again, for the team, I just want to thank you so much for sharing your stories. I want the audience to know that a significant aspect, right, of discovering your next best step, it often involves like making some missteps along the way, right? So we understand that mistakes are valuable learning opportunities. And in fact, learning from failure is frequently the key to achieving success. So by acknowledging and learning from our mistakes, we can enhance our skills and develop in various ways. So the team, I have a question for you. And that question is, have you encountered a misstep in your career's path? And if so, could you share the strategies that you employed to turn it into a valuable learning experience? And I'm going to mix it up a bit, and I'm going to go with you, Sarah.
Awesome. Okay, so I think a misstep that I made is, I think, feeling a little too comfortable in my previous position, like in terms of feeling like I did it, like, oh, I got the job. I don't need to do anything else now, right? But that's not true. I found that I always needed to be continuously learning, or that's what I should have been doing. Like, for example, going networking events, going and doing like virtual workshops or in-person workshops. I think that's it's very important to continually develop your skill set as you develop your career, and I think and to get to where you want to be, that's very important, especially if you have a long-term or short-term goal at the end, in your mindset. So that's what I think my biggest misstep was. So I think when I got this position for project coordinator and researcher, one thing that I promised myself I'd be doing more of is to, you know, take a look at my goal, but then see like what I need to do to get there. Like make a list of like what courses I want to take, what people do I need to be talking to, what questions can I ask. And I think that's another misstep that I made in my previous position, not asking enough questions. I think having that curiosity and asking questions, I understand that it's always great to it's okay to make mistakes, and I'm realizing that only now, because that's how you learn, because you learn from them, and then you learn by asking questions, and then not and then understanding what not to do the next time. And I think I have a greater appreciation now for asking questions, and understanding that I don't know everything, and that's okay.
100%. Thank you for sharing that, Sarah. And I think it's just a valuable life lesson for all. And speaking of that, like, when I do this live, I always tell the audience, make sure you're having your notebook and that you're taking notes. Take notes. If you have your cell phone, take notes, because we're going to be dropping gems and I want you to take these notes. And thank you so much for sharing that, Sarah, because yes, it's continuously learning. It's learning what you can do to improve your skills. Like the market is changing, the world is changing. And so it's always good to, like, not say we're going to try and keep up, but just to make sure that you're in a space where you're continuously learning and you're bringing so much more to the company, and you're learning, and we're all learning here together. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to jump to you, Deborah. I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Could you please?
Yes. So I wanted to know, like, have you encountered a misstep in your career's path? And if so, can you share the strategies you employed to turn it into a valuable learning lesson?
Sure. I would say that I've definitely made a lot of mistakes, things that I thought were missteps and mistakes at the time. Looking back on those situations, I realized that there was things in those situations that grew me. They were tough situations and mistakes that I made that taught me a lesson that helps me today. So one particular example I can give, there was an opportunity that I was presented with, and it seemed like a great opportunity because of the pay. So the pay was great. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this money. I'm going to take this job. But something inside of me, kept telling me, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It looks good on paper. It's a lot of money, but don't do it. But I did it anyway. I started the job. Things seemed off at first, and they seemed off throughout, and they seemed off towards the end when I left. But I would say that was a misstep, but I think I learned a lot about conflict. I learned a lot about dealing with different types of people. I learned a lot about, myself, and, what really fuels me and drives me as far as like my professional career, which is purpose. It's not money. So because I took that decision because of the money and because of, the flashy things, and had that experience, that was a misstep. But I won't make that mistake again. I think I needed to go through that situation in order to see, hey, like, you can't make decisions based on money anymore. Like, money is needed, but that's not the only thing you need. That's not the number one thing. So that's an example. As far as like a tip to go with that is just definitely listen to your intuition, even in economic, crisis, even when the groceries are high, You know, everything that glitters is not gold, basically. So definitely, like, you know, listen to your intuition when it comes to those opportunities. Because even like I said, with resting and, you know, seeing what comes to you, sometimes things will come to you that are not for you, and you have to be able to recognize that.
Listen, yes, yes, and yes. It's put some respect on your intuition, folks. Your intuition, she, he, they, your intuition doesn't lie. Like, it doesn't lie. Like, and I know sometimes it's tricky to differentiate between like your traumas triggering you versus like an intuition that's misguiding you, like, or something that's misguiding you. But one key for me when it comes to intuition, and thank you so much, Deborah, for sharing. First of all, thank you so much. When it comes to intuition, it brings you peace. It's that voice, I find, for me, that in the midst of all the chaos, it's that one right of reasoning that brings you a sense of peace. So listen to that. My dad has shared something with me years ago, and he said, if you ever been to a crossroad in your life where you don't know what decision to choose, you only have to pick the one that makes you sleep better at nights. That's it. Just pick that one. But yes, thank you so much for sharing, Deborah. Over to you, Christopher.
Can I just say that I am writing down so many nuggets from
Yes.
everyone, and I feel like all I want to say to Devorah is I feel like, all right, Oprah, preach, like, because you're just making such really great um, thought statements when it comes to purpose over pay. When from Sarah talking about just not being afraid to ask questions, and adding to that, I think about speaking up and being leaning into your voice, your inner voice, and then translating that into your outer voice, you know. And then the thing that I'm hearing from everyone that lends to myself and our journey here, before we even talk about missteps, is the fact that, you know, if we really take that time, like you said, to listen to what is it that we really want, where our energies are leaning towards, then we start to see that although in this situation where we all didn't expect to be in recruitment or in executive search for more specifically, that we were able to tap into being like, but this is what I have to offer, and this is where it's transferable. And I think going back to Deborah and what you're saying about our audience and people just listening about making the next best step, it's really about, one, understanding your story, which Stacey is always talking about, but then thinking about what are those skill sets that are transferable and that they can lend themselves to industry and to opportunities. So I know we don't have a lot of time, so just for the sake of that, I'm gonna just give a quick synopsis of my perceived misstep, which is I was working with the Hilton chain, and that was my ticket from Barbados. I said, okay, it's an international company. I'm going to go big. I'm going to go in the leadership program. And along the way, I knew that I wanted international exposure. And until I got into the program, I was working full time with the company in Barbados, but I also pushed for myself to get some internship opportunities. And one internship opportunity was in Canada, actually, here, coming back to my home in Toronto. And when I finished the opportunity, the director of front office at the time was like, hey, would you think about moving here? Would you think about just staying and working? And I think even my colleagues were like, we love you. You bring such great energy. But I was scared to take that leap. I said, and more specifically, I think I was just so focused on the journey I had set out. And so while I didn't take up the opportunity to go to Toronto, I think the lesson that I learned from it was you can set paths and you can set goals and specific objectives, but you still have to remain open to the unplanned opportunities. And so that's the biggest nugget I can pull away from this misstep, or just, and not even say, because as you said, Stacey, and there's never really a missed opportunity. It's what is for you. And sometimes when you can let go of the fact that maybe this outcome was not for you in this time because something better is coming along,
Yes.
That's also something else that really spoke to me in this particular experience. So just plan, have a vision, communicate that vision, speak up, ask questions like you said, Sarah, but be open to those unplanned opportunities is my tip.
I've never heard of unplanned opportunities, and I wrote that down because yes, that is solid gold. Thank you so much, Christopher, for sharing that. Yeah, and it's just like It's just like what you said. It's like making room for the unplanned opportunities, the unknown. You never know what's going to come and what's going to be better. I can jump into and I can share my missteps. I've made many mistakes along the way, many missteps along the way. But the one that came to mind was when I was actively pursuing acting, and I wanted to be a lead actress. I wanted to be as big as Halle Berry. I figured we share the same birthday, so we got to share the same success, and I was actively pursuing that, and I got a rush case of anxiety, and that's when my depression came in, and I felt like I had to step back. I had to step back because of my mental health, and I don't really consider it a misstep, but friends and colleagues, some people say, you could just get better, but keep going. You're so good at acting. Don't leave your dream. Keep going. But I had to step back and do what was best for me. And when I stepped back from focusing on being an actress in front of the camera, I get to realize that the film industry has so many different jobs. There's so many different things that you can do. And I'm very proud to say this. And so I started doing background acting. I started because I wanted to still be in the vicinity and still be in the home of film. So I started doing background acting, and then I started doing stand in for lead actresses and photo doubling and occasionally one or two minor stunts if I have to jump. And I was still working in the industry, but I took a step back and focused and looked at the 360 perspective that I had and realized that this industry is vast, it's big, and if I love it so much, there's still some kind of job, there's still something that I can do. So maybe it doesn't tie so much into a misstep, but for friends and colleagues that felt like sometimes I look at it and I was like, man, I'm so good, maybe I should have kept going. But I also felt like it's you can't sacrifice your mental health if something isn't working. And like I said, there's no missed opportunities. So it is what it is. But that misstep has led me to look at things from a wider perspective. I looked at the film industry from a wider perspective. I know we're almost coming to the end. And, folks, stay with us. We have a couple more questions to go into. But before we go into our next question, I wanted to state a little bit and talk a little bit about imposter syndrome, because we know that imposter syndrome, it is a persuasive phenomenon and it transcends boundaries of race and ethnicity. However, its impact on the BIPOC community carries distinct and often profound implications. The weight of systemic barriers and historical disparities can amplify feelings of inadequacy and self doubt. BIPOC individuals, despite their accomplishments, may find themselves grappling with a persistent fear of being exposed as frauds. This phenomenon not only hinders personal growth, but also perpetuates a cycle of underrepresentation in various professional and academic spheres. So personally, I have dealt with imposter syndrome. I have for almost 4 years, and I have my ins and out with it. And it's a little bit harder sometimes when I have to battle that with anxiety. But one thing for sure that has helped me besides therapy is while reading and applying motivational quotes daily at the start of my morning. And so this brings me to our next question for a panel. Can you share a motivational quote that really speaks to you, and then tell us why? Just because we're running out of time, just tell us quickly why this appeals to you. I'm going to go to you, Chris.
Okay, I'll be really quick, and I had it written down. So my quote's from Maya Angelou, and she says, "I've written 11 books, but each time I think, uh-oh, they're going to find out now. I've run a game on everyone, and they're going to find me out." And I think that relates a lot to the fact of, for me, when I go up and I do speeches, and I used to do some acting at that point in time, or any type of performance. And as much as, you've done this a million times, you got this, but something in the back of your mind keeps saying, oh, like, I'm not as big and not as good as people think I am. And so you kind of have to buff yourself up a little bit in that regard. And so as you said, Stacey Ann, it's a real thing. It's something that we just need to be honest with ourselves about, but also know that we can, in those moments, that's why it's important to have the support group, but also to try and lean in and just tell yourself those silent affirmations, like, trust yourself.
Yes.
And just know that you can do it. So that's my quote.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Over to you, Sarah. What is a quote that you love, or something that, you can tell us about why this quote appeals to you?
Yes, of course. So my quote is also from Maya Angelou. If you must look back, do so forgivingly. If you must look forward, do so prayerfully. However, the wisest thing you can do is be present in the present gratefully. So I think this resonated with me when I was going through my tough time in job hunting, because I could choose to stay in the past mindset, or constantly have anxiety well up inside and look towards the future. But I think what I needed to do was to be grateful for the progress that I've made so far in my career. I think having gratitude encourages us to appreciate the progress we've made, and those who have supported us along the way. And I think it can be a powerful motivator, a powerful motivating motivator, which reminds us the positive aspects that we did go through.
Absolutely.
And even like having a practice of like writing 5 things down you're grateful for every day just helps you appreciate, or can even help you um, think of turning like like missteps into opportunities. And yeah, this quote just really got me through that tough time in my life. So I hope it resonates with our audience and the folks here.
Oh, thank you for sharing, Sarah. Thank you. I appreciate this quote. Deborah.
Yeah. Yeah, so my quote comes from the book of Romans, and it says, "Tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance, character, and character, hope." So this quote is really important to me. It's something that has helped me through numerous difficulties. And back when I was talking about the recession and I couldn't find a job, that was something that I actually wrote in a 3x5 card and I stuck it on the wall next to my bed. So every day I would wake up and I would see that. And it's true, you know, when tribulation is a big word for problems. So it's more than just work problems. Like maybe everything's going wrong. Work's going wrong. Personal things are going wrong. Everything's going wrong. Tribulation. But that produces perseverance to keep going. When you go through a hard time, you know, and you get through it, and the next time you have a hard time, it's easier. You can persevere through it. And that produces character. So when I think back on, like, you know, imposter syndrome, many times I've experienced that, and just not feeling adequate, feeling inadequate in the workplace, feeling inadequate just in general, you know, and just all those tough times, and getting through that, and to look back and see that it's built my character to be, you know, a stronger individual who can, you know, help other people and bring other people up and bring other people forward. And that gives me hope, you know, that gives me hope to know that if, you know, I do come across another tough situation, that I'm going to get through it and I'm going to build character from it and I'm going to continue to move on and help other people.
Yes, I love that, and I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to share mine, and I came across this quote. Actually, I came across it on LinkedIn, and then I had to source where it actually came from, and this is it. It goes, daily affirmation: "Me run things, things not run me." And it's so short. It is so short, but literally for somebody that battles with anxiety, um, motivational quotes are something that really gets me through the day to keep me grounded. Prayer, meditation just grounds me. And I have to tell myself, like, no. And when it comes to also imposter syndrome, I listen, this is my life, and I'm not gonna let the outside noise or whatever run me or try to dictate or try to direct how I should move forward. And so it's just like it's like a Jamaican proverb, you know, but it's still like, and I'm sure and it isn't a dancehall song, but it's just a reminder: you got this. It's a reminder that you are the director. You're the director of your life. You're the lead. You're the lead actress in this journey. And so just remember that. Just remember to have that focus, that you're not going to let the outside noise get into you internally and deflect from the sunshine that you are. Just remember, you're the brightest star, so just shine your brightest, and you can do this. So I know we're almost 5 minutes away from showtime, from the show ending, and so I wanted to drop a surprise question on my fellow colleagues here. And so Question number one, because y'all know when I do my lives, I like to drop a surprise question. Okay, so always stay ready. My goal, like my quote for y'all, is always stay ready in life. Okay, Chris, you're up first.
All right.
This is your question, and you got to pick one. There is no, well, maybe I can do.
I feel like
Helen
this is like Miss Universe.
and I know Helen is watching. Helen likes to do that. You have one choice,
I'm
okay?
sweating.
Okay, so you have a full day with Oprah. You go to her house, you can meet Stedman. Gail is going to be there, her dog's like a full day having lunch with her, and she's going to tell you everything that you need to know. Embark, beautiful motivational, not just quotes on you, but just tell you, just help you, motivate you, be your mentor for a day. You sign an NDA, you cannot tell anyone this happened. In fact, this doesn't exist. And so you have that choice, or you have 500K. What would you choose?
Either to spend the day with Oprah or 500K. Oh,
I remember,
definitely.
no one will know about Oprah.
That's okay, because all the knowledge and insights and probably investment tips you can give me, I could well make more than that 500K. Okay. And I mean, if I could just make one quick step further, the one thing I definitely ask her, because I think she's had so many second, third, fourth careers in her journey, is how do you hold on to that passion and how do you keep yourself driven? Because I feel like she's a woman that not only has come through adversity, but then when she came over the other side, she then still went ahead and found another mountain to climb. And I'm so inspired by her.
Okay, so you'll take Oprah. Okay, the full day with Oprah. Okay, thank you, Chris. Deborah, you have a chance to work with Debbie Allen on a Broadway show, right? She's acting as your mentor as well. And then you'll also co-produce with her that show. Or 500K. What are you taking?
Y'all not gonna like this. I'm taking the 500K. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna take the 500K and I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna look at all Debbie Allen's stuff and all her tutorials and figure out how to do it with that 500K.
Okay. And I wanted to say that question of this person or 500K, like there was a meme floating around with, do you want a lunch with Jay-Z or 500K? So I kind of piggyback off of that and just, added some of her team's faves. Okay, for you, Sarah, so you have a one-on-one with Zendaya where she will share styling tips with you and put you in contact with her top designer friends and stylists, okay? Or 500K.
I would definitely take the stylist for sure. I love look, I think I have great style, but man, I love Zendaya's stylist. Like every time she goes out on the red carpet, she's always looking fabulous. Like from the hair down to the shoes. I am just always in awe of her and the way she carries herself, especially for someone who's only a couple years older than me, to be honest with you. And definitely the stylist.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone, we are 2 minutes away from 3:00. But before I go, I want to remind you that we are everywhere. We are on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I'm still going to say Twitter. I'm not going to say X. We're on YouTube, and we're also on TikTok. So please connect with us at BIPOC Search. Okay, BIPOC Executive Search. We're right there. Connect with us. We love to build with our community. I want to thank my esteemed colleagues. Let me go back again for joining me, especially for your first time joining me on this live. It has been such an honor to share space with you. If anyone in our community that's watching this, if you have a question for me, you can @ me at Stacey Buchanan and tell me what is my 500K question, okay? Because I didn't get one, but whatever it is, I'm gonna choose a 500K. But thank you so much. Have yourself a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.